In a city where over 27% of residents live below the poverty line, more than $850 million in public money is being poured into a new NFL stadium. Not for hospitals, not for schools, but for a team owned by a billionaire. It's now the most expensive taxpayer-funded NFL stadium in American history. The Buffalo Bills' new home isn't just stirring excitement, it's igniting outrage. Behind the blueprints and the bold promises lies a story packed with tension, money, and power. Why are fans excited while locals are fuming? How did this plan survive protests, lawsuits, and exploding costs? And the biggest question, who really wins in this deal? Let's step inside the chaos behind the Buffalo Bills' controversial new Highmark Stadium. Stick around till the end, because what's really happening behind the scenes might just change how you see modern sports forever. Back in the 70s, Buffalo built a stadium that felt more like a giant concrete freezer than a modern football palace. Ralph Wilson Stadium was iconic, sure, but by 2020, it was showing its age. Leaky pipes, outdated tech, and a location far from the heart of the city. The Bills had a choice: renovate, relocate, or rebuild. Talks about a downtown stadium circled for years. A modern build in the city center could have transformed Buffalo's skyline, but instead the Pegulas, the team's owners, chose Orchard Park again, right next to the old site. That decision alone sparked heated debates. Was this a missed opportunity for urban revival, or a loyal nod to tradition? Now here's where things get wild. The original plan pitched a $1.4 billion project. Manageable, right? Fast forward, and now it's ballooned to $2.2 billion. You read that right. So who's paying for all this? $600 million from New York State, $250 million from Erie County. That's already $850 million of taxpayer money. And the rest, the Bills are covering it, but with a twist. They've asked the NFL to waive $650 million in debt rules to get more help. Wait, hold up. Why are regular people footing the bill for billionaires' ambitions? That question's been echoing through Buffalo ever since the numbers dropped. People weren't quiet about it. The moment the funding plan dropped, backlash exploded. Over 60% of locals voiced opposition in polls and town halls. Lawsuits came flooding in. Activists labeled the project corporate welfare on steroids. The core complaint: public money funding a private billionaire's football palace. Why pour nearly $1 billion taxpayer dollars into a stadium when schools are underfunded, roads are crumbling, and housing costs keep rising? It wasn't just a financial question, it was a moral one. Some took the fight to court, arguing the deal violated constitutional restrictions on public gifts to private businesses. They believed the state had overstepped, bending rules to serve the rich while regular families struggled to get by. But despite the protests, despite the lawsuits, the state and the Bills kept pushing forward. Stadium renderings rolled out, shovels hit dirt, and slowly people began to realize this was happening whether they liked it or not. It wasn't just about money anymore. It became a battle over values, priorities, and who really controls the future of a city like Buffalo. Alright, let's talk design. If this stadium is causing such a stir, what does it actually look like? What makes it so different, and is it even worth the chaos it's causing? The new Highmark Stadium will seat around 62,000 fans, making it one of the smaller stadiums in the league. But that's no accident. The Bills wanted it that way. Smaller crowd, louder energy, more of that raw Buffalo intensity. It's staying open air too, because let's face it, Buffalo's bone-chilling weather is part of the game day experience. Snowstorms and freezing winds, they're not bugs, they're features. To make things more bearable, a giant 360-degree canopy will hover over most of the seating area. It's designed to keep fans covered while still letting sunlight and snow hit the field. That way, players still battle the elements, but spectators stay drier and warmer. The sightlines are sharp. Every seat is angled for a cleaner, closer view of the action. Concourses will be wider and more modern, aiming for that blend of classic tailgate vibe with high-end functionality. Still, for all the planning, for all the smart engineering, there's one lingering question. Does all this justify the $2.2 billion price tag? Despite all the noise, lawsuits, rising costs, and heated debates, something unexpected happened. Construction stayed on track. Crews recently celebrated a huge milestone, the topping out ceremony. That's when they placed the highest steel beam on the structure, a major sign the skeleton is standing strong. But But don't be fooled into thinking it's been easy. Inflation slammed the project hard. Material costs shot through the roof. Steel, concrete, labor, everything more expensive than expected. Then came the design tweaks, adjustments to the canopy, changes in layout. Every little shift meant more time, more money, more pressure. At one point, whispers started to spread. Would the stadium really be ready for the 2026 season? Was the opening date just a fantasy? For a while, it felt like the whole thing might start slipping, yet somehow the timeline's still holding. Progress reports show the stadium moving steadily through each phase. Foundations are poured. Structural steel is rising like a giant skeleton clawing out of the dirt. Drive by the site in Orchard Park, and you can't miss it. It looks like a futuristic bowl dropped in the middle of quiet suburbia. Enormous. Bold. Unmistakably real. Whether you support it or not, one thing's clear: the stadium is no longer just an idea. It's becoming reality fast. Now, let's talk promises. Politicians said this stadium would bring thousands of jobs, boost tourism, and spark growth in local businesses. Sounds amazing, right? But economists? Not so convinced. Many argue that sports stadiums rarely deliver long-term economic benefits. Most jobs created are temporary, and any tourism boost usually stays concentrated on game days. Worse, there's no comprehensive community benefits agreement. That means no concrete guarantees on how much local workers or neighborhoods actually gain from this mega project. Terry Pagula and his family bought the Bills in 2014. Back then, the franchise was worth under $900 million. Now, thanks to the stadium deal and NFL market growth, it's estimated at over $4 billion. And here's the twist: Pagula recently sold a minority stake in the team, cashing in big. He used taxpayer-funded momentum to boost his private valuation. Fair play or a strategic exploitation of public support? Critics say it's a classic case of privatizing profit while socializing risk. The Pegulas win either way. The public? Not so much. Here's where it gets emotional. Buffalo is a football town, no question about it. For many fans, the Bills are more than a team, they're family, tradition, identity. So while some protest outside, others cheer the stadium on. Season ticket holders dream of new seats. Local bars prep for a surge in business. And for younger fans, the idea of a high-tech stadium brings hope for a brighter Buffalo. This isn't just about concrete and turf. It's about who the city is and who it wants to be. So what's the final verdict on the most controversial NFL stadium in the making? It's complicated. There's pride, frustration, excitement, and anger, all tied up in $2.2 billion of steel and dreams. Some see it as an investment in Buffalo's future. Others see it as a handout to billionaires. But one thing's for sure: when the Bills kick off in 2026, all eyes will be on Orchard Park. If you found this story as mind-blowing as we did, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. This is just the start. We've got more untold stories coming your way.